I want to do a quick overview of a sub panel that I installed a year or so back when we built this building. I did all of the electrical, the plumbing, the gas piping, the HVAC. We had some guys here kind of help me do it from a labor standpoint. But the majority, like this panel here, is one that I tied off. I installed the water heater, the HVAC systems. We had some guys help with the duct work and stuff like that. So I didn't do it all, but I planned it all and I did a lot of it. So this panel here I installed, this is a sub panel. What makes it a sub panel is we have a separate ground wire here, a separate conductor, ground conductor. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 conductors, line 1, line 2, neutral, and then ground, and they go outside to a primary disconnect where the ground and the neutral are connected back together, and there's also a ground rod. So on this sub panel, we're going to separate our neutrals and our grounds. And if you don't understand why we do that, you need to educate yourself. There's a really good YouTube channel, The Engineering Mindset, on grounding and bonding. I would highly recommend you finding that and watching that. But there's a lot of information out there. A lot of electricians, especially out here in very rural areas, that don't understand it. For instance, they're never going to put bond out the little metal plate behind this switch. They don't think you need to, but you do. There's reasons for that. I'm not going to get into it on this. This is not a grounding and bonding video. This is just an overview of a panel I installed. So what I do that most people don't is with a Sharpie, before I start landing wires, I write on here 1, 3, 5. I lay everything out. I don't even have breakers in the panel yet. And then as I am pulling my wire in, I will write on that wire the circuit number. And that is determined from a blueprint that I have already, I've already sketched this whole building out in advance. I have already printed this off in advance. I have this stapled to the wall or to my prints. And as I am pulling the dedicated food service, this is probably for a warmer or something, I write on that wire number 7. I am not writing dedicated food service. When I pull the number 9 circuit to the water fountain, I am not writing in by hand water fountain. I'm just writing a number 9. That allows me to tie this panel off so much faster. And then as I'm pulling my wires in, you can see that I write the circuit number right there on the Romex sheathing as I pull in. So all I'm doing is just number to number, number to number. There's no thought process in it at that point. All the thinking has been done in advance. So that's one thing I do. Another thing I do is I have a GFI breaker here. That goes to all of my exterior plugs. I think there's only 4 on this building. It's not a real big building. I don't like exterior putting GFIs, even the watertight, proof, whatever GFIs on the exterior. They're a maintenance nightmare. I've got one GFI breaker protecting all of those plugs. If there's a problem, they can come in here and flip that breaker. Arc fault right there goes to my CO2 detectors. They are not part of the fire alarm system. They're standalone. And that's really it. Whenever I'm landing my power wire here, I'll let's say line 1, directly behind it, you can see that. That is a neutral. That is the neutral that goes to this circuit. So that's circuit number, 7? Well, that's neutral for this number 7 circuit. So when I'm troubleshooting, I can isolate the power and the neutral really, really easy on every single one of those. It doesn't take a whole lot more extra time. From a troubleshooting standpoint, it can be very beneficial. So that's it. I always put an extra ground bar in. Not sure if I said that already. So I have one on either side. Makes pulling the grounds in a whole lot easier. But that's it. 225 sub panel. You know what? That's not it. And just go ahead and say this. I know that electricians can be interesting individuals. So I'm sure there will be some charming comments at some point. But so one other thing too, you want to make sure, like, this is my fire alarm. It's identified as red. And then I also have a sticker here. And then also, this is obviously not a code compliant 2020 or even 14. There is no codes in Southeast Missouri. There's not even a state regulatory board in Missouri. So I put this in. There is no bedrooms and dwellings. I honestly don't know what the arc fault requirements are for a commercial building. This is more of a commercial building. I have an arc fault here for my CO2 detector, and I have a GFI for my exterior plugs, and that is it. I have GFI receptacles in the bathrooms and so forth to meet that code issue there. And then I think I am going to go up and try to find the drawing that I did for this building and kind of show you what that looks like as well. So here's the electrical plan or the drawing for that building. Here's where the panel is, and we've got 20. I'm not sure what happened, but somebody pulled off the little breaker ledger. But essentially, we've got number 19. That's our water fountain. We've got, here's our plugs, our washing machines and dryers here. We got dedicated circuit for each of those. These dryers are 120 volt. They're gas dryers. I didn't have to do dedicated, but we did. So everything is essentially, this one here I didn't really draw out how to pull the wire for all the receptacles and let them, I just basically, this is where a home run comes in, and they go accordingly. Got 3 circuits here, 1 circuit per bank of LEDs, halo lights. This I spent a little bit extra time on to make sure that I didn't overload the ampacity rating of these LED dimmer switches here. So, but that's it. And then right here, went ahead and drew in. We got some ductwork here, and this is to keep the guys from pulling wires through these ceiling joists here, because this is all return duct here. And that's it. So that's just kind of an overview of the plan we kind of go into. Obviously, there's a ledger here that kind of tells, reminds me or tells the guys what circuit is what. That's it.